Um, my name is Shrub on the internet. It's not a real name. It's my internet name, I guess. And I play with computers, and the reason I'm here because I and other people. I was one of the people involved. I don't want to say I'm the lead person. It sounds kind of arrogant. I was one of the people involved. We made this website called Wayland FYI, which some people have been referring to as Suckless Wayland, which is one way of putting it. When I say some people, I mean you.
By people you mean me. I'm the one who started that. Yes.
Yeah, although a few people had said similar things before. So obviously, I guess most people who know it's probably a good way to starting getting into explaining it. So Suckless, they like made software that's simple. Some of it is good, some of it's not very good, in my opinion. But so I now they made something called DWM, which is a window manager for the Xorg display server, and I have used it in the past. But I was kind of sick of X11 as a whole, and I was also not. I mean, I had moved to I used Sway for a bit, and then I was on Neri, which is very good as a piece of software to use as a user. But I don't really like it from. I don't really like most of the Wayland compositors and software from the kind of code and backend perspective. Even though most of it is great from a user perspective, it's much better than X11. So I wanted to do something that was a bit simpler, approachable for a developer from a code standpoint. And I found this project called on GitHub by a wonderful programmer and developer called Michael Forney, who's made many other amazing things. But he made SWC, the Simple Wayland Compositor, and I tried it out. So this all came about because I'm developing a Linux distribution. I feel like I'm going on a bunch of tangents, but I was developing a
Jump
Linux
around as
distribution.
much as you want. As you're jumping, I'm like jotting things down we can go back to. So do whatever you need to do.
So I was developing my Linux distribution, which is called Derive Linux. It's amazing. No, don't install it. By the way, no one install it. Okay. But I was working on that, and I wanted to get Sway because I think it's probably I thought it would be easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because my distribution has no Mesa. It's all statically linked, so you can't have Mesa. It has no UDEV because UDEV is bad. And so I was trying to get WL roots to compile statically with just Pixman, which means a CPU rendering on DRM without UDEV. And it was really hard, and I could not get it to work at all. So obviously, I decided the next best thing is that I should fork a different project and make my own compositor that works with my distribution. It seems like the logical next step. So the way it started is with Havel. You mentioned it in the video that you made. So originally the project was just Havel, and we bundled a modified version of SWC inside the Havel repository, and that was the way we did it. Then eventually we started making so many modifications and improvements to SWC that we decided to make a new repository just for that. And also SWC has something that's layered on top of called WLD, Wayland Drawing Library. So we also made a repository of the changes we made to that, and we called it New SWC and New WLD. And those are on my source up page. And I posted some stuff like on Reddit and whatever, and it kind of ended up gaining more traction than the distribution that I was working on. So you know how these things go, right? So we made a little page for it, and that's Wayland.fyi. So it has that on it, and there's loads of compositors that me and other people have made on top of our stuff, and also some assorted software that isn't really related to what we're making, but is kind of aligned with the message. So yeah, that's why I'm here, I guess.
So why are you sick of X11? Like what? Actually, firstly, when did you start using Linux? Like how long have you been using it for?
I've been using it since I was about 13. My dad helped me install Ubuntu on my laptop, and so I was using my first desktop was GNOME, probably on Wayland. I don't remember. I wasn't interested at the time. Then I was using 20. I think it was either 24 or 22. I don't remember. I think it was 22.
I think they'd swap by default by then. Maybe.
Yeah.
It was either that or the next version. It was around that point.
And then after that, I was using Mate. I think that's how you say it on X11. Then I started trying out more like DWM, like window managery stuff, mostly on X. And then recently I moved to Sway and Neri. And then now I'm only using my own software, which is fun, right? I'm using my own compositor. But the main reason I got sick of X11 is not really from a user perspective. As a user, I think both X11 and Wayland have their strengths and weaknesses. But I think sort of in the back, when you look at how X11 actually works, it is just the most just utterly disgusting, evil. It's like layers and layers and layers of just bullshit that's been stacking up for like 40 years. It's actually unbelievably bad. When you actually look at how it works. So I guess I should probably explain how it works, what the difference is.
Yeah,
X and
go
Wayland.
into that.
So X, now there is only one X11 implementation. People will tell you there are more, but they are liars. The X Libre is just Xorg, and then Xorg is also Xorg.
To be fair, they don't really exist anymore. There are some independent, like a minimal X11 server.
Or XFP dev.
I don't know.
TinyX.
Maybe it was TinyX. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
TinyX is based on Xorg. So
okay, we'll take back
like
what I said then. Okay.
Yeah. That was what I was originally using for my distribution before I wanted to switch to Wayland.
To be fair, sorry, I'm gonna tangent you again. Is the macOS X11 related to Xorg?
Okay, I don't know anything about walled gardens. I'm not going to try to
fair enough. Fair enough.
But probably not. If I had to assume,
Probably
but I don't know nothing any about that. So Xorg is the singular X11 implementation that works on computers nowadays.
Yeah.
And it is like horrible, basically. So you have the way the X11 protocol works is there is a server, which is the X11 server, and clients can connect to that server. But the clients are not just applications that like user applications that appear as a window. The clients can be your window manager. The clients can be your compositor. Now, if you want to composite, you're going to need an X extension called Xrender, or no, Xcomposite, obviously. And then so all of these extensions, if you want to do anything on X, you need an extension. They didn't make this easy. Each extension is a library. It's not like an extensible protocol. I mean, imagine if someone did that, right? Each extension is a library. So you have Xfont for server-side font rendering, XFT for the client who wants to do font rendering, Xcomposite I mentioned for compositing, Xshum, I don't know how you say that, shared memory for shared memory stuff. Which is similar to some stuff on Wayland, but all of that stuff builds up. And then if you want to get a working X11 stack on a computer, you need about 60 libraries. It's like millions and millions and millions of lines. I'm not joking, by the way. It is for the bare minimum X11. I think it's about 50 libraries. That's what I had on my distribution, and that was literally the bare minimum. I've deleted all that now. I don't want to ever touch it again. I don't want to maintain it. I don't want to think about it. But with Wayland, it's like 15 or less things. The core library is much simpler. Now, the way Wayland works, instead of having a core server with clients that connect, you have something called the compositor. Now, this is confusing. This is like a big part of the website because people kept saying this to me. It was like my biggest pet peeve. So on X, you can have a compositor. And what that does is it takes the windows and it renders them in an off screen, and then it can add effects or whatever, no screen tearing. It adds it on top of them. That's called compositing. But that's compositing is actually just drawing the thing where the thing is supposed to go. That's what compositing means. So on Wayland, the compositor it draws the thing, it accepts connections from the client, so it's the server, and it also has the window management logic in it, inside of it usually. So it's a window manager, a server, and a compositor all in one, which some people say that's fragmentation or something. I don't really know. I think it's a good thing, but hey, and then so now it's quite hard to make a compositor from scratch. It's very hard to make a compositor from scratch. I think like what was that noise? I don't know. Anyway, I think like three or four people have made a compositor from scratch that works successfully. The ones I can think of are Kwin, GNOME. I don't really know about these two. To be honest, I don't touch that stuff. And then WL Roots, which is like the famous one, made originally I think by Drew DeVault, and now it's like free desktop. All those people work on it. And that is the premier implementation of a Wayland compositor for the last however many years. So Sway is based on that. All the other ones that I don't use are based on that. I don't know. There's probably more. And then there's also one in Rust.
You could make the argument, it's not really using the desktop, but Western does exist as well. And for a while, that was considered the reference implementation.
I forgot about that.
Most of its use nowadays is embedded systems. The other ones you have are basically just libraries that exist, like, Smithy. Smithy doesn't have a compositor built.
Smithy-
There's not a core like Smithy compositor. Like WL Roots spawned out of Sway. Originally, there wasn't a WL Roots. It was just part of Sway, and then it got separated out. Whereas with Smithy, it started as a library from the beginning, and then things are built with it.